On this episode of Bothering the Band, we have Brian and Dan of the awesome band Ninja Sex Party, who wants to take your body sweetly by the hand and rock your face off. We have a history with these dudes, and we have an even better time. This is a super fun episode. Here we go. Brian.
How's it going?
Hey, man. How are you?
All right. Good to see you.
My name's Ryan. This is Abby. Welcome to Bothering the Band.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. Danny should be here in just a moment.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, man. We're big fans. So we
sweet.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah. No, dude. Thanks for having us. It's where are you guys located?
I'm in Florida and she's in Wyoming.
Nice.
Big thanks to Joel and Brent. Those are your guys.
Yep. Yeah. Brent's our manager and Joel's our assistant.
Oh, cool. Very, very. Tell them I said thank you. We both said thank you. And
absolutely.
Dan, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going quite well, man. Thanks so much for being here. I was just saying, Brian, we're big fans.
Hi, Ryan. Hi, Abby.
So where are you guys at in the world?
We're both in LA.
Okay. Cool. We'll definitely tap into that. We'd like to dive right in. So if you guys are good, we're ready to go. We got some real stupid questions. You answered one. I have to just right out of the gate because you walked the line. If you can only choose one, music or comedy.
You want to go first, Bri?
Sure. That was a tough choice. I think I got to go music. Like, it's just, I love them both, but I guess I could imagine a life without comedy, but I cannot imagine a life without music.
Yeah.
Yeah, same for me. I was a musician or pursuing music for, I guess, 8 years before I ever really seriously got into comedy. And in a lot of ways, I only got into comedy because I was so beaten down by trying to pursue music and not having any success for so many years. And then after pursuing comedy as sort of a relief, that's when I started seeing Flight of the Conchords and Lonely Island. And I was like, oh, wait, actually, maybe you can combine the two things. And then I met Brian, and here we are 13 years later.
Wow. It's incredible. And honestly, so I'm going to jump right into this too. My memory's not the best, but I have a distinct, I took classes one class at UCB. Did both of you do that?
Yeah,
I did.
I never took an improv class at UCB. I took improv classes, but at UCB I took sketch and storytelling.
Okay. Was this both in New York?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Was it at the Chelsea location?
It was.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I peer pressured. I was peer pressured into taking level 1 improv. Gethard was my teacher.
Wow,
my friend Mike, who was much better at it than I was. I just was a fan and got suckered into it and had the money.
Mm-hmm.
And so being in I remember hearing about you guys.
Oh, wow.
And the band a while ago. So this is, to me, is a big deal. And I want to thank you for doing this, man. It's pretty wild. I do think music and comedy kind of overlap a lot, especially in cities like LA and New York.
For sure.
And yeah, so
there's kind of
a small world,
an old saw that every musician wants to be a comedian and every comedian wants to be a musician, right?
Yeah.
Which is not totally true, but not too far from the truth.
And we want to be both. I think we started this because we're both big music fans, and we're just being comedy adjacent. And then we also, like myself, Abby's super talented. I have zero talent, so we're like, how do we get into it? How do we force our way into these lives? Who was your teachers? Did you have anyone of note? Either of you?
Do you want to start, Danny?
Well, I mean, I have seen my teachers pop up in a lot of places. Gethard was someone, I can't remember it's been too long. I can't remember who I took a course with because I was an usher there for a lot of years. So I had a lot of interactions with people. And then my brain tricks me into thinking that I took a class with them, but I didn't. I know Bobby Moynihan definitely was around at that time. Gethard was awesome. What was that?
No, go ahead.
Gethard was awesome because he was from New Jersey. So we would always talk about Jersey stuff. He was a big Nets fan, and he had been to Action Park, which was like, if you know about it, that's the place where like it was a rite of passage to break your arm there every year if you grew up in New Jersey.
Yeah. Did you have Nate? I was going to ask, was Nate Smith one of your?
Nate Smith was. Yeah, he was awesome. I've seen him pop up. It's a very weird thing because now there are these folks out there, especially the ones who ended up on Saturday Night Live, like Kate McKinnon and Jenny Slate and Sashir. The people that you sort of take for granted are just out in the comedy world. But then, like, I'll have these moments where I'm like, oh yeah, I was sitting in a classroom with them. You know?
Yeah.
It's a very weird world for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I had for sketch Michael Delaney, who most people just call Delaney, who's like, a comedy guru type. You see him he's done a ton of stuff in various comedy things throughout the years. I really loved his class. And then Margot Lightman, who was a storyteller that you took her storytelling class too, right?
I loved her storytelling
before
class.
I did. I think you took it.
I think that was my favorite class I took there.
I think I took it because you did, and you told me about it. I'm pretty sure. And she's great and has done a ton of, especially storytelling stuff.
To just build on that, our very first show or very first performance as NSP was on Margot Lightman's UCB show called Strip Stories.
That's right.
Which was stories about like sexual encounters that she and her comedy partner had, and they'd have guests talk about it. And because we were like a quote unquote sexy band, it fit perfectly. So that was really nice of her to let us do that.
Yeah, totally.
Aesthetically, both of you were very sexy men. So
thank you.
She was right. She was right.
Same, likewise.
Oh man. All right. We'll move on from just the gushing over, the past and UCB. Cause I could talk about it forever. What if you could open up a bar or a restaurant, what would the theme be?
Well, we have talked about this in character. My dream restaurant, actually, was just thinking if I could actually do this as a food truck, is it's a dumpling truck called Ninja Brian's Hot Dumps. And we serve all kinds of hot dumps. You can have hot beef dumps, hot pork dumps, hot soup dumps. You get some nice get one of our hot dumps in your mouth.
Soup dumps. I love soup dumps.
That's
so gross.
Are you there has to be a dump truck or something like that?
That's right. The dump truck.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
I can't think of anything offhand, although I will say in Switzerland, there is a restaurant / bar that was created by H.R. Giger, who created the aliens, xenomorph, and the bar looks like that insane world that was in his head.
There's a Giger bar. That's
look up Giger restaurant or Giger bar. It's in Gruyere, Switzerland, and I'm dying to go there because it looks insane. Yeah, did you see it?
No, but I will. My mind is blown just at the idea.
It's pretty wild.
We got to look at the menu.
Yeah.
What's on the menu?
I didn't actually consider anything other than the ambiance.
Well, yeah, Danny, if you remember, it was going to be Ninja Brian's Hot Dumps. Do you remember your half of that?
I don't.
It was Danny Sexbank's Tasteful Nudes, and it was a noodle restaurant.
I don't remember it, but that does sound like something we'd say.
Yeah.
And then you both park outside of a very corporate, stuffy office.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Always.
Just really liven up those people's day.
Yeah.
When you were young, did either of you take karate classes?
I did. Yeah. You couldn't be in northern New Jersey and not take karate classes. Not in the 80s. So I'm 46, and so when I was whatever 9 or 10 was when Karate Kid came out. I forget
Yeah.
exactly when, but early mid 80s, and so it was like the thing for suburban kids to do, and I did it and was terrible. I embarrassingly just never advanced. I think maybe I got to the second belt, which I believe was an orange belt at my dojo, and I use the term loosely. Uh, I think I got one stripe on my belt, and they were like, "This kid just cannot do any better than this."
I was the same. I did it. It must have been the same time because I'm a couple years younger than Brian, but like not a lot. So I was probably 7 or 8, and I loved it. It was awesome. And then I did it again at the same school when I was 31, and I had not advanced in any way. I had just moved back into my hometown, and I was like, man, it would be cool to just do this again and try to recapture some of that magic. And it was fun, but again, by that point in my life, I was like, I have to focus on doing something with my life.
Yeah, my dojo. If you remember, in The Office, Dwight has Sensei Ira.
Yeah.
My
Yes.
dojo was like Sensei Ira. It was like, Sensei Dave or whatever. It was just some rando Jersey guy who opened a pseudo dojo in the basement under the pizza parlor.
Oh, wow. Two things. This is wild. 2 episodes in a row, we've never had this. The word sensei has come up.
Oh, well. I mean, it's
That
on
is
you
wild.
for doing one of those and then interviewing a ninja band in the next one.
True. Very
So,
true. It's
It's
just,
not independent.
yeah, it's just the universe is weird. You answered part of it is the belt. Brian, did you ever wear the belt to school?
No, I didn't. No.
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 Never wore with your jeans?
Let me put it this way. I wasn't good enough at martial arts to want to advertise that I did martial arts. That would have been a losing proposition.
Yeah, very true. You're an orange belt. Get over here.
I definitely did when I sucked at football. I wore the football jersey to school on game days, which was equally as misleading. But yeah, that's as close as I got to wearing like sports gear to school.
I wore a tennis polo. I was in tennis in high school, so it's worse. Have you ever been to a fetish party?
Not on purpose.
By accident?
Well, when Brian first met me, I lived in this really gross, awful. I was really poor, and I don't even know how to describe it. It was essentially an abandoned factory that had been converted, probably under the table by. Yeah, it definitely wasn't up to code, and they just kept building rooms and stuffing hipsters in there. And so I had like 14 roommates, 1 bathroom. Every time it would rain, it would flood. It was nuts, but the parties were amazing. And every now and then I would wake up in my room just to blaring music. This could be like at 3 a.m. or 12 noon. And I would walk out of my room, and in the main area, there was just a huge, crazy party going on of all types. So I'm sure a fetish one worked its way in there, but I was probably just trying to like work my way through the crowd to get to the fridge.
Yeah. Was this in Williamsburg at all?
As a matter of fact, it was. Well, not Williamsburg. It was in Bushwick.
Okay.
It was a place called the McKibben Lofts.
Okay. I don't know McKibben Lofts, but there's a few of those buildings, especially, like 15 years ago, Brooklyn.
Yes.
It was like, we'll just shove a bunch of, like you said, hipsters. And I remember a friend of mine one room was broken up into 5 sleeping areas with like pallets.
That's correct.
It was very creative. It was, I don't think I could ever do it, even as a young man.
I don't think I could do it now, man. Like it and every now and then, like it would rain and the people next door to us would move out because they were sick of it. So we just like knock down their wall and annex their apartment like Puerto Rico. It was amazing.
You guys had to
It
put
was-
up sandbags when it rained too, right? Because the
Yeah, we had to build little levees like a medieval village.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. It was a good time, but again, like you said, the parties would pop. I always felt bad because I would go to those parties and there'd be like one guy who had to wake up, and we
Yes.
just like, and everyone's doing whatever they were doing and ingesting whatever they're ingesting, and I was like, I don't live here. Sorry, man. Like, do you? What's the covers situation when you sleep at night? Are you comforter sheet? And do you sleep under it? You sleep on top of it? What are we talking here? This is an important question.
duvet.
Definitely thought this was going to be like a cover song question when it
I did
started,
too.
and it took a hard right turn.
I'm just
Yeah.
under a duvet. That's it. No, there's a bottom sheet, a fitted sheet, and a duvet.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Practical.
It depends on where my wife and dog are sleeping, like, because it's definitely the duvet, but like sometimes they're on top of it, and then like the dog has the weight of like a star that's imploding, and just so dense, and then you can't move it, so then you just have to like
Not move a sleeping
sleep.
dog that size. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to like sleep around
Mhm.
the animal. So yeah, I guess it's circumstantial.
And the dog's
solid
name is
question,
like
though.
Black Hole Sun or something.
Yeah, feels like it. Yeah, well, her name's Camilla, but she has the density of a black hole sun.
What a weird metaphor to refer to your sleeping dog. It's like an imploding star. When was your last heart boner? Your sincere, not, hyperbolic or facetious heart boner.
I think at my wedding.
Aw.
Which wasn't that long ago. It was towards the end of last year,
Mhm.
but that was definitely as heart bonery as it gets.
Oh, I love heart bonery. Brian, what about you, man?
Every time I look at my wife.
Aw. Shout out to the wives. Congratulations,
Yeah.
Dan. That's great. Good for you.
Thanks, man.
Good answer. Oh man. How do you store your Tupperware?
Oh, so this is actually, I have a lot to say about this.
Yes.
We have recently moved away from plastic and started using glass for storage. Just feel it's more reusable. I don't want to support more plastic crap being thrown out, So we have a series of telescoping glass bowls that we use for storing leftovers.
It's very adult, but like,
So adult.
yeah, it's very adult. Dan?
Yeah, I don't know. It's dependent on the meal, because like if it's sushi, then you got to let it go, man. But if it's chicken parmesan, you can live off that shit for months. So it really is dependent on the on whatever is going on in the kitchen at the time.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah. So no saving sushi. How do you feel about leftover French fries?
Here's the deal: air fryer. Air fryer makes it worthwhile. Without the air fryer, it's complete bullshit. You don't want to touch them. With the air fryer, it's workable. That's the difference.
One of my questions was going to be, do either of you or both of you have an air fryer?
I do, and we use it all the time. I got one from my wife Rachel for Christmas, like, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, because we had heard about it, and then she got it, and neither of us realized it was just a little convection oven. We had done no.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, this sounds cool. Sure, got it. I was like, what the hell is this? It's just a convection oven, not realizing that it rules. And now we use it to cook like basically every meal. I'm so on board for the air fryer thing.
I never heard the phrase air fryer until 45 seconds ago.
Really? Oh my
Yeah,
God. It's very,
I don't even know what it is.
They're very popular right now.
very trendy.
So it's a little
appliance.
thing. It's like kind of a foot by foot by foot cube, or I'm sure they vary in size. Ours is about that.
Mine's a cylinder.
Oh, wow. Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's like round.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
It's got a little drawer you take out, and it basically heats up, and then it's like a convection oven. It's just constantly swirling air through things. So it heats up stuff like fried chicken or French fries. You can cook vegetables in it. It's honestly, next to our toaster, the appliance we use the most often. It's really rock and roll.
This episode brought to you by air fryers. You guys should get a sponsorship for air fryers. You know, get
Jeff,
Dan
please.
one.
Yeah.
Ninja Sex Party sponsorships have been few and far between.
Yeah. I wonder why.
I could just see that commercial, you know.
Yeah.
That'd be great. They would sell some more air fryers. I bet you. You mentioned it before. So if you had to choose one, Lonely Island or Flight of the Conchords?
Oof,
That's a tough call.
that is a tough call. I think for me, I think it's Flight of the Conchords for me. I love both bands, but I like I think Flight of the Conchords just has the edge because of that really dry New Zealand humor, which is very much my bag.
Yeah, they're both kind of like the perfect group for what they do, you know.
Very different.
Yeah,
Very
which is really different. I would probably choose Flight of the Conchords too, just because I like singing more than rapping.
Mhm.
But they're both fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and game changers too.
For sure.
We were singing inadvertently, I think, maybe subconsciously, the "Humans Are Dead" song today
Mhm.
when we were chatting on the phone about the interview. So that was a fun moment. And again, just going back in time, like when I moved to New York, that's when Flight of the Conchords was like blowing up, and like only the cool people knew who it was, like what it was. So soft spot for sure. Great. Well, two questions. Do you know who Wesley Willis is?
How many signed Wesley Willis albums do I have is the actual question. I saw Wesley Willis live 4 times. Once at CBGB's, twice at the Casbah in San Diego. He headbutted me, and he
I was gonna say,
smelled
hey,
like
did you
vomit.
headbutt him?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Well, no, I didn't headbutt him. He headbutted me
Yeah.
very hard. It smelled awful. Was an absolute game changer of a person for me in so many ways. I
Yeah.
was a huge fan. I could not be a bigger Wesley Willis fan, and that man is in many ways a rock and roll idol.
I respect what he did. I can't say I have any albums or anything like that, but I think I like people who do their own thing, and he definitely did his own thing.
Yeah, for sure. I saw him, Abby. So I'm in Orlando at the Social, and he was headbutting everyone after. This is prime college Napster, Kazaa,
So
LimeWire,
like
for us.
2002-ish, 2000.
Yeah, like 2002 to 2004.
Yeah.
You know,
That's exactly when I saw him. Yeah.
and there was nothing in my research, like personal research about you guys that spoke to, other than I was like, I bet you they know who this is.
Oh, dude, he was when I was in college, I think that's when I heard the first Wesley Willis song, which would have been in the mid to late. I graduated in 97. Pretty sure he had albums out around then. And it was a huge thing for me and my college friends. And then I just, whenever I had a chance, just to see him, I would, which wasn't that often, but still. I mean, I now RIP. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say RIP, Wesley Willis.
Yeah.
What's your favorite energy drink? Soda. Uh-oh.
I can tell you what it's not. This Gatorade lime cucumber flavor.
That's not a real what?
It's fucking vile, but it was free, so I'm drinking it.
That's only in LA. That is not in Florida.
Do you think
or
so?
Wyoming. Maybe
It's very
progressive
positive.
cities, but
It's the worst.
In Florida, it would be called like Citrus Cuke Blast.
Yeah, it'd be something. They'd just be like, no cucumber. We don't.
Right. Too
We
green.
don't want. Yeah, too healthy.
I hate energy drinks. I won't drink them, any of them. I think they
Yeah,
all
if I need like a boost, I'll just drink like a Coke or something like that.
Do you drink coffee?
I do.
Not a lot.
No.
No, the caffeine isn't always the best for your voice. So
Ah,
yeah, and so I try, like, I don't know. I try to drink a little more like green tea
I was going to
stuff
ask, do you drink tea?
tea by the truckload.
Very cool.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I certainly don't look down on it. There have been days where I'm like, I wish I drank coffee, because everyone
Yeah.
around me looks so chipper.
I mean, tea has I guess what I'm told, per fluid ounce, it has more caffeine.
Is that true?
That's what I'm told, but I've never felt it.
Yeah.
Other than like yerba mate or something.
Right.
I don't know. I generally go for the chamomile herbal stuff.
Yeah,
So
I drink it at night. I go.
Yeah. Anything with like a sleeping cartoon bear on the front in pajamas, I'm sold.
All right. This episode not brought to you by New Gatorade at all.
Yeah. There goes another sponsorship
Sleepy
deal.
Time Tea. What's the last video game you played?
What was it? I think Binding of Isaac in my case.
Okay. I'm going to pretend I know what that is.
I have an unusual other job where I play video games for a living. So
okay.
Yeah. So
like as a tester or
no, the show is called Game Grumps. It's a YouTube channel where
it's on your
we
shirt.
literally.
Is that on your shirt?
Oh yeah, it is actually, because
okay.
I'm a sucker for free shirts. And so like it's basically it's sort of like Mystery Science Theater 3000 with video games instead of movies.
That's very cool. I would watch that.
Thanks. I love being a part of it. So the last game I played was what we were recording with yesterday. It's a game called I'm on Observation Duty. Really freaky game. It's, how can I explain this? I'll try to do it in 10 seconds. You are in charge of different cameras. You're looking at like cameras in a house that has been haunted, and it's your job to click between the rooms and see what's changed. Like what the ghosts, so like the ghosts are like moving a chair a little bit, or like something will start shaking a little, right up to like there's a freaky, horrifying ghost just standing there, and it's really cool. Yeah, it's really off-putting, but really fun. And it's like a spot the difference game, but with higher stakes.
I was gonna say it's like modern photo hunt.
Yes.
Remember that bar game?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It's really fun. It's worth checking out if you like.
So,
stuff
and
like that.
like you click on the item or something that's different or moved.
Yeah, when you see something that's different, you file a report, and you basically tell your Ghostbuster friends to get in there and fix it, and they fix it. But if there's too many ghosty things that you miss going on at once, then you die.
Wow,
stakes are high.
That's wild. That sounds pretty cool. I would be into. I'm not a video game person, but I think I'd be into that.
It's a fun one, and I think anyone would get into that.
Wow, there's like 4 of them.
There are.
Can you play it on the like Oculus or anything like that?
It looks like you can do mobile, according to what I'm seeing here.
I don't know what we play it on. The other guy, Aaron, he sort of like runs the more technical side of the show.
Okay.
But yeah, it's Oculus would be. I think I'd be too freaked out.
That'd be cool,
right?
Yeah. Any horror game where you put on like a headset and you're in that world is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh man, I like that you said you like free shirts. We like free shirts as well, and
everyone does.
I love shirt. Do you think it's a generational thing? Because I love shirts and stickers, and
everyone loves free shit.
Yeah,
right? Like, yeah.
What was your okay? Aside from the if it's obvious, what was the last free shirt?
Oh, for me. At least 80% of the shirts I wear are from WFMU, which is a radio station in Jersey City.
Yeah.
It's a listener sponsored thing. And so when if you donate to them, you get swag and often a t-shirt. So I'm sure it was a WFMU shirt.
I used to do that with WFUV so Fordham. Yep. And then the alternate side, they had their online radio. That was something I donated to. What about Dan?
It's always like stuff from bands I'm a part of or the show, it's
Yeah.
whenever we come up with new merch, we have to get samples to make sure it's comfortable and that it looks okay in person.
Mhm.
And then it's just like freaking Christmas all the time, man.
I speak of Tupperwares. I have giant tubs of our merch, which I don't want to, get rid of because it's like a history of the band. So they're just under my bed with 13 years of fucking NSP and Starbomb shirts and robes and pins and hats and all the stuff we've done over the years.
I thought you were going to say, speaking of Tupperware, I have all these shirts that with Tupperware on them.
Well, I have a couple because our backing band TWRP used to stand for Tupperware Remix Party because which they changed due to some various obvious legal problems that presents. And so yeah, I have my share in some sense of Tupperware.
Yeah.
If you count
as you'll see, these questions sound random, but they are tailored a little bit. Just we go a different direction. So I have to ask, what size t-shirt do you wear?
I'm a medium.
Okay. Abby, let's make a note and we'll talk to Brent and Joel and we'll send you some Bother in the Band shirts.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, for real. You'll dig them. The logo is just like old cassette tape.
Sweet.
What's next? Okay, here's a real silly one. If peanut butter wasn't called peanut butter, what would it be called?
I think they just call it brown.
I'm gonna go with nut goo.
Nut goo, brown nut goo. Let's combine.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Man,
it would sell. It would sell. It would be big on the ironic market.
Just brown. Hey,
can I have a brown and jelly? Yeah.
You took the words out of my mouth. Brown and banana. Sandwich.
A good one.
Oh man, I saved that. Like I was sitting on that question for a few interviews, and I was like, I think I'm gonna. This is for that.
These are the guys.
Good move.
Yeah. We've had a few, like I said, more in the comedy scene guests, and that's when we bust out the more fun questions, because you're used to it, and you're better at it,
Well, look,
thanks.
Love to have fun.
Okay, here we go. This is a personal question from me. What are some fun ways to answer the everyday question, how's it going? Or what do you do?
Those are two separate questions.
No, like, okay. What I'm getting at is how do we make people stop saying living the dream?
Great question.
And I have that in my notes too. It's like bonus points for not saying living the dream.
Yeah, I guess the most obvious way would just be to crush everyone's dreams that you meet. Got to be someone out there who does that.
I mean, if you want to be, to me, my favorite form of being off-putting is you just stare at them, and eventually they're like, okay, and then they stop.
You have peanut butter, and you're like, want some brown?
Yeah. I find that like rhyming nonsense words really, people hate it. Like feeling tribbity on the flippity dibbity, like they're just like, fuck you, man.
I like that because it stops people in their tracks. I'm getting, the reason I asked is because I guarantee you'll think about it more now. Everyone, how you doing? Living the dream. And it's like, okay, we got to retire this one. We got to move past.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The term, is it phatics? PHATIC, I think is I could be wrong, but I think that's the linguistic term for, it's just these things you just say. You don't really think of, you don't break them up into components. It's like, how's it going? Pretty good. That sort of stuff where it's just part of the social fabric that we use. And the moment you start to think about any of them, you're like, wait, what? No, that makes no sense.
Abby, what do you say when someone says, how are you doing?
I'm pretty sure I said living the dream earlier today.
Excellent.
I bet you get asked how you're doing like 10 times a day though. Have you ever manifested something that actually happened?
I don't know how much I had to do with it because a lot of it feels lucky, but the my personal dream was to always play an arena show, and um, through for the first probably 18 years of my life, like I was in my parents' basement with like a broomstick as a guitar, and then an actual guitar, just playing along with CDs and stuff. And then, it took a while, but then when I was 38 or 39, we played our first arena show, right before COVID hit. And it did have this feeling of like, how much did like we have to do with this and how much of it is just dumb, pure luck, and I don't know the answer, but it's cool that it happened.
Yeah. I remember
It's incredible.
in my case, it's kind of a similar answer. When I used to be an academic, and when research was rough, I'd be like, man, I wish I could just be a comedian. And that seems fun and glamorous, like the glamorous world of stand-up comedy. Everyone always talks about. But cut to however many years later it was, and I left an academic career to be a full-time comedian musician. And while I don't believe in manifesting in the secret kind of way, that was definitely a thing that I had a goal. And I told Dan, like when we moved to different parts of the world, I told Danny, like, if this ever gets to a point where it is a workable career, I will quit my academic job and I'll come back and do this. And that happened. So what is that manifesting?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard work. It's luck.
Yeah. I was going to say, is it manifesting or is it just like you work hard at it?
I think it's having a goal, working hard, and getting incredibly lucky.
Yeah. I'll also throw stubbornness in there and like stupidity, like, and also picking the right mentor as well, because talking about UCB earlier, there was it was connected to UCB somehow, but I took a career course with this group called Capes Coaching, who are still around in New York, and they were hugely helpful at the beginning of NSP, because it wasn't like I had this really nebulous idea of like, boy, it'd be cool to start a band, and then we could make albums and do shows, and then ? But with them, they would teach entertainers how to like create a year-long plan where with deadlines where, okay, like this is where we want to be in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, beyond, that kind of thing. And then it was sort of like a matter of following this GPS line rather than like taking shots in the dark. And so that feels more like what the quote unquote secret to it was, just having people that are good at like the nuts and bolts of a career help you with that side of it, because that was the side that I had no clue about.
Yeah.
Oh,
and also
fantastic answers. Go ahead, Brian.
I was just going to say, and just the very good advice, which we would have done anyway, which is be kind to people. And that way people actually want to do stuff with you rather than being a raging egomaniac, which is not in either of our bones. But, certainly if you're in comedy long enough, you meet people like that, comedy or music, and just being, nice to work with, I think is a big part of that too.
Very well said. I took a class and I'm first and foremost a writer, and I took a class in college, and the professor was like, who here is here for an elective and who's here because they actually want to be a writer? And so like 2 of us raised our hands. He's like, all right, you 2, I'm going to teach you guys how to be a working writer. And I think that just changed the trajectory. Like you said, with the career coach. But yeah, you got to be stubborn. You got to be kind of silly and nice at the same time. You both are nice. Thank you for doing our podcast.
Oh, it was our pleasure, man. And like I just wanted to say one more thing that just occurred to me. Like you have to fight through those like 3 or 4 come to Jesus moments where like every logical part of you is like, what are you doing? Get a fucking normal job, like, because your life starts to run out, or at least mine did. You start to run out of options because you can't afford to do anything. But then like you've always said, Brian, it's one of those things where if you'd be happy doing anything else, do that other thing. But if you realize like you really wouldn't be happy doing anything else, then you just got to keep going with it.
Yeah.
Man, we gotta save that audio right there. That was pretty great. We should have ended on that, but we still have a couple more questions.
Cool.
Sure, man.
That was so powerful, though.
What we do.
Oh man, this is such a terrible segue. In the song 99 Red Balloons,
Yes.
what color is the 100th balloon?
Oh, well, look, I mean, Humean philosophy would teach us that we can't infer that, but common sense tells us it's red.
Okay.
Isn't that song about nuclear war?
I thought it was about like the Berlin Wall or something. No.
Oh
Maybe.
shit! I don't know. It's in German.
Yeah.
Like
Luftballons.
I think. Well, I don't know. If it is in fact nuclear war, then obviously the 100th balloon would be gray, like the wasteland of a doomed Earth. Yeah. But other than that, probably red.
Yeah. Oh man, what great answers! What very thought out answers to a very very dumb question. Oh, when's it's kind of what Brian was talking about. When's the last time you interviewed for a regular job?
I guess for me, like if you consider I don't know.
I don't want to infer that what you do is not a regular job. But like let's say a lame job.
Oh, because I was going to say, when I interviewed for my professor job, I had to give a talk and, that sort of thing. But a job, I mean,
like Foot Locker.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, it was barely even an interview since my friend's dad owned the company, but I'm going to count this. I worked for a biofiltration company the summer after I was a freshman in college. And in case you're wondering what biofiltration is,
I was
literally taking the grossest waste products you could possibly imagine and filtering out the awful stuff so that you can reuse or whatever the remaining parts of the fluid. So I was in a lab filled with spinning membranes and a bunch of toxic chemicals for an entire summer. And I had to show up and plead my case that this is something I wanted to do.
Did it smell?
Some of the fluids smelled. Yes.
Okay. Dan, what about you?
I can't remember. Was it the last job I interviewed for or the lamest?
I just these words are not doing me justice. Yeah, let's go lamest or not,
The lamest was when I lived in Philadelphia. I interviewed and unfortunately got a job where I was a van dispatcher for a medical supply company.
Really?
And yeah. And the company would give people who needed kidney dialysis rides to the hospital. But the drivers would constantly just kind of do their own thing and go to McDonald's and party and whatever. So I would be watching like their vans like go away from the house on like this little map readout.
Oh my
and
God.
I would like and then I would field the angry calls that I knew were coming from these people, and they're like, my life is at stake. And then I would get in contact with the driver and they would say stuff like, hey, Dan the man, pots and pans. And I'm like, Chris, somebody's dying. And that was my life every day for months and months. That sucked.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan the man, pots and pans, living the dream.
Totally.
Oh, man. Where's the strangest place you've ever heard your own music?
Oh.
It's a good question.
Let me think. I don't think I've ever actually heard. I've heard of our songs being played in public, but I've never experienced it myself. Probably the strangest place is we gave my daughter, who's now 7, a little boombox, and occasionally when she's got some extra energy, which is all the time, she goes into her room and puts one of our cover albums in the boombox and starts dancing and screaming like, like an animal to one of our 80s covers. So occasionally I'll just walk into the house and I'll hear our song with a tiny kid screams.
That's pretty good.
It's actually kind of an amazing feeling to have a kid who like wants to hear your music. You know what I mean? She actually told me the other day, she was like, Daddy, I love being your daughter because I get to hear your music first. And I was like, oh,
that is so sweet, man.
What a nice thing to say that she will not be feeling in 6 years when she's a teenager. I'll take it when I can get it,
Maybe. You never know.
It's true. I'm going to be a pretty fucking cool dad.
I can't think of. Did you say I'm gonna be a cool dad after you've been a dad for 8 years? I can't think of a time when I've ever heard NSP stuff anywhere. When NSP was just starting out, I had a friend who would write background music for TV and radio, and he would sometimes have me come in just to like sing, either la la la's or just kind of write some nonsense lyrics. And every now and then I'll be watching a show and I'll hear like my own voice in the background. And that's very weird because like, I would just get paid for the day. So like, I would never be part of like negotiations as to like, or knowing when it got sold to any kind of show or anything like that. But it is weird. Like, I'll just be sitting there and I'm like, is that me? But it's something I did like, 7 or 8 years ago, and then like sat on a shelf and it's a very weird world, that licensed music world.
I was going to say, is it like stock audio? Is that kind of like what it is?
Essentially, it would go into like a library, and whatever network owned that library of music, if there was a character that, say, like when you film a scene in a restaurant in a show, all of the sounds, like the clinking of glass and the background chatter, that's all put in post. So all of that stuff, like if they don't want to pay Coldplay or something for use of one of their songs, they'll just dive into that library and stick it in for free. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
And it'll be on the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Here's a fun one. Uber Eats, Postmates, DoorDash, or do you pick it up yourself?
Always pick it up yourself. I hate those companies. Never, ever, unless I have to, I will never use them. I don't want to support that. I don't want to support those. I want to go order directly from the restaurant, call if you have to, go pick it up yourself. That's my philosophy.
I just saw a funny meme that it was like hot dog, $1.50, soda brings it up to $2.50. Postmates, final Postmates charge $55. Yeah. That's a little bit like what it feels like.
Yep.
But yeah, I've used them all at one point or another. It certainly during quarantine, but also just like a lot of times we're just recording for 8 hours, and it's like
after,
we're gonna starve to death if we don't do this. But yeah, it's if when I retire and have more like time on my hands, I'm gonna do the right thing when it comes to ordering food.
Gosh darn it, Postmates is so LA, but I'm with Brian. I every time, no matter what, without fail, one thing is off, and it's not
yes,
it's not bad, but when it happens like for 2 years in a row, you're just like, motherfucker.
No, that's right.
Um,
And if you go there, you can check it before you leave and be like, oh,
Yeah.
you forgot this or this, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally. With you.
I feel bad for this question because Abby doesn't have the ability to do any of it. She's in the middle of the mountains in Wyoming. So she's got like one gas station option at night at a certain time,
Oh.
too. Okay. I just think this question is funny. What's your favorite Dave Matthews song?
Well, it's got to be ants marching, right? If it's not ants marching, what are you even doing?
There's no wrong answers.
I played my cover
Judgment.
band in college used to play ants marching. I would play soprano sax.
Oh, nice.
That would bring in a violinist for that one song. We'd play. We would play together, and then he would leave.
What's the one where he's like, here the bird, there the purr. I think that's
All
Ants
of them,
Marching.
but ants.
That's-
Marching.
yeah, that's also
Yeah,
right.
okay. I like that one.
Okay. Do you put deodorant on before or after you get dressed?
Varies. I mean,
Really?
yeah, it's day to day.
That's
More
wild.
often than not before, but occasionally after, depending on if
Okay.
it's like post shower or something like that.
I've never thought about it. I mean, like if I have clothes on, it goes under the clothes. Like it's always that's consistent.
You don't put it
But
on your
beyond that-
shirt.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
I
I
was gonna say,
forgot.
technically, that's after.
Yeah.
You just have white or goo.
Yeah. Why isn't this working?
Ah, I don't
Shirt
know.
smells great though.
Oh goodness. Okay. Your first email, was it Yahoo or Hotmail or AOL, and what was it? Unless you still have it, then don't say.
First email, I think was CompuServe in my case.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Goes way back. Yeah.
No, are you asking our first email address?
Yeah, like the first one when you were young, like the first computer.
College
folks.
too, maybe even that. Yeah.
I was damn big nuts at AOL.com.
Wow. Looking
Yeah. Yeah. I was really depressed. I wanted to be Hotmail at hotmail.com,
Oh,
but
of course.
that had
Of
been taken.
course.
I looked
so
for that too.
disappointing.
Yep, I looked for that too.
Mm.
I still make fun of my sister. She's 10 years older than me. So when that was coming out, she was, if I was 15, she was 25. So I remember her being like, Hotmail. I don't like it. Sounds pornographic. I don't like it. I still to this day make fun of her. So what is next for you guys, for the band, just in general? This is your moment to shine, to tell us what you're working on, or if you're playing live, anything like that.
Yeah, so we're in the process of writing our next original album. So we're half-ish way done with that. And that hopefully maybe later this year, we'll see. These things are hard to predict, but that's the goal. Scheduling a tour for later this year as well. So those dates are kind of getting locked down now. And yeah, just trying to keep everything going. We're on a really fun ride, and the goal is just to keep taking chances and trying to do new cool stuff.
Yeah, same for me. There's a new band I'm a part of, like a serious music project. Although NSP is very serious in its own way.
Yeah. The
Like we
lyrics
take
aren't
it seriously.
serious, but we take
Yeah,
it seriously. Yeah.
yeah. We take our stupidity very seriously.
I think that's what makes it, though. I'm not kidding you. I think it's like Leslie Nielsen in Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Like the dedication and like the not breaking, and you guys have that to a T. We're like, this is it, and it.
I remember when Andy Samberg was asked about that, he said, when people tell me Lonely Island's stupid, I take that as a compliment, And I was like, what a cool perspective.
Yep.
From
the beginning,
yeah,
we wanted the music to be awesome and to be actually good, whatever that means. But that's something we have and continue to take seriously.
for sure. But like the new band that I'm in is called Shadow Academy, and it's got we released our first single a couple weeks ago. The next one comes out in a couple weeks, and then the album comes out in April.
Very cool.
Yeah, I love it. I love being a part of it. But honestly, like Game Grumps, Ninja Sex Party, and maybe that as well, Shadow Academy, and whatever other music projects come along. Like if we could just keep doing this indefinitely, like I would be so happy. Like
Yeah.
I don't need any more fame, don't need any attention. Like it's just, it feels so good to just be able to like do something fun for a living and keep the lights on at your house doing it, you know?
Yep, for sure.
Great way to end the pod. I must say thank you. Also, when I told some of my friends, especially my comedian friends in New York, they were like, I can't believe you got them on the pod. That's so crazy. So thank you. You're making me look good, or us look good. And well, we can't wait for the next stuff. And we're going to be in your neck of the woods, May 20. This is how this came about. And I think you guys,
oh, that's right.
the tours is happening. We're doing a live show at Hotel Cafe on May 21st. This is more for the listeners. We're not pressuring you to come.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so we're doing a live show. We have musicians and comedians coming out. We're going to ask them a bunch of dumb questions. If you're around, you just come hang out.
Sweet.
And just be cool to, buy you guys around or whatever. And thank you for doing Bothering the Band. This has been a lot of fun. Brian, Dan, Ninja Sex Party, look at all your projects. Thank you so very much, man.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate it.
Cool. Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
Take care.
Baby, you give my heart a boner. Baby, you give my heart a boner. Every time I'm hanging out with you, I feel like a Superman flying. We were making out by the school. All the little kids started crying, 'cause it was so fucking beautiful. Oh shit, man, somebody hand me a Kleenex. Here we go. Baby, you give my heart a boner. Baby, you give my heart a boner. Shit. Oh my God.